Hi there, it's me, Reed.
Hello, I'm Jennifer.
Welcome.
We're glad you're here with us for another Faith at Home listening practice.
Today we're starting Psalm 119.
We're going to read for the first 8 verses of Psalm 119.
Yes, using this version.
Ooh, ooh.
Jennifer wrote a paraphrase of Psalm 119 in the the original kind of context, where it was what do you call that?
An acrostic.
An acrostic.
An acrostic. So each section of 8 verses in the original language was written all starting each line with the same letter.
In the order of their alphabet.
Right.
We are not using the Hebrew alphabet.
We're going to use the English alphabet.
So it's not exactly the same, obviously.
There'll be some differences in the order of the verses as we go, but we'll keep you in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is 119.
This is verses 1 to 8.
Okay.
And we have our notebook as usual and a pen. We'll keep a few notes. As we read through, we're going to read through twice. And the first time through, we're just listening for a word or a phrase that stands out to you. And maybe this is brand new to you, this particular Psalm 119 is long. So lots of the time people skip it.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Honest. And if you haven't had a chance to read my book yet, it might be this version. The images, I hope, are fresh and new to you too. So.
All right.
Would you?
You want me to read first?
Or do you want me to read first?
No, I can read first.
That's what we should do.
I will read first. And then the author will, or the paraphraser, I don't know. The author of the book, anyway, will read afterwards. Anyway, so we're listening for a word or a phrase that sticks out. So tune your internal ears to God's voice. Psalm 119, 1 to 8. Always gracious God, you begin with a double blessing, your love and a pathway revealed step by step. Absorbing your gentle, wooing instructions, you teach me, syllable by syllable, the language of your heart. Attached in healthy ways, that's me, walking along the path with you, dear divine, and with the community of the forgiven. Adoring gaze fixes upon me, eye to eye, I mimic the ways you move, make sound, and interact. Attentively, I step where you step, walk where you walk. Avoiding racing ahead, I let you guide me. You help me face my fears. You help me explore with courage. Arrows of gratitude and consolation point me towards your kindness. With love, I repeat the actions you show me, kind to myself first, and then to others. Assured that you are right here, I can walk with you, cooperating with your mentoring.
There are many phrases that jump out at me today, but the one that I think I'd like to talk about is you help me explore with courage. Now, that's something I'm noticing in my life right now, that there are certain fears that I have, and fear can paralyze me. So that exploration with courage is what stands out today.
The thing that stuck out to me was that I step where you step, walk where you walk. The idea of following God and God guiding and my following, that I'm not just going my own way, that somehow, even like what we're doing here, this listening for God's voice, which isn't easy, I will say. Walking in God's footsteps too is also difficult. It means you've really got to be attentive. At least I do. I have to be really attentive. Otherwise, I tend to just want to go my own way. I'll just do things my way. I don't have to listen or pay attention. I just do. And that can work, but it's not the best. So that's what stuck out to me.
Thank you. I wonder what you hear. What stands out to you? What do you notice? If you would put a little note in the comments or send us an email, we'd be glad to hear that. It's really helpful to be actually in a conversation that goes back and forth, because that's the best way for us to listen to God and to learn.
Why don't you read?
Reading number 2.
And we'll listen this time for an invitation. God's calling you to something. Something that you can do. A verb.
Always, gracious God, you begin with a double blessing, your love and a pathway revealed step by step. Absorbing your gentle wooing instructions, you teach me syllable by syllable the language of your heart. Attached in healthy ways. That's me walking along the path with you, dear divine, and with the community of the forgiven. Adoring gaze fixes upon me, eye to eye. I mimic the ways you move, make sound, and interact. Attentively, I step where you step, walk where you walk. Avoiding racing ahead, I let you guide me. You help me face my fears. You help me explore with courage. Arrows of gratitude and consolation point me towards your kindness. With love, I repeat the actions you show me, kind to myself first and then to others. Assured that you are right here, I can walk with you, cooperating with your mentoring. Is there an invitation that stands out to you today?
It's connected to what I said the first time. I mimic the ways you move. It's a call to look to God for God saying, look to me. I am active in the world. I am doing. You can do as well. Do what I do. Obviously, God's doing bigger things than I can ever do, but I'm not creating or anything. But that idea of mimicking, look to God and try to mimic God, do what God does in the world. That's what I hear.
I hear the invitation to see God's adoring, feel, experience, soak up God's adoring gaze. When our kids were little and we would watch them mimic us, copy us, often the response for me was to just watch them in this like, oh my goodness, I love you so much. And I still look at them with that, oh my goodness, I love you so much. But that, I think God looks at us the same way too, that God watches as we go through our day, and the orientation of God's heart toward us is of love. And so when we are invited to adore and praise God and give thanks to God, it's actually in response to God's adoration and love of us, that God looks at us in that way. So I'm invited to receive God's, oh, so loving gaze on me today. That's what I hear.
That's good.
God is good.
What are you hearing God say to you?
What does God invite you to do or be or become? Because it is this process of being in the conversation and responding to God's invitations that Psalm 119 is actually all about. So we're grateful that you've been with us today, and we'd be glad to hear from you. And if you don't have a copy yet, you are invited to visit your local Amazon and pick up a copy of We Love Your Invitations. It has both the prayer poems and beautiful photographs to accompany them. And together they make for a lovely ecology of text and photograph.
It's a good meditative resource. Like what we just did.
Just what we did.
Yeah.
Now you can go through that process yourself or with a friend, or you can join us because
Mhm.
we'd love to have you be in the conversation with us.
We'll see you again. Thank you for being here.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.